Hello and welcome to another episode of Reseller Information Network. We are here, episode 28, and we are so thankful that you guys have hung out with us and been involved this long with Reseller Information Network. Guys, today we are going to be diving into the world of Bearded Thrift Machine. He is here with us. He always knows what to look for at those garage sales. So, and you want to pick up whatever he shows you, I'll just tell you. So, when you're out here doing reselling and garage selling and hitting the Goodwills and hitting the thrift stores, it's always good to have a little knowledge. Julian's a guy I've known for a little while now. I've actually had him on a previous show a long time ago when he was, like most of us, just beginning into the world of YouTube and eBay. And, I knew him back then for fishing lures and golf clubs is kind of what we had going on. And as always, we've got our esteemed panel, Mr. Tim over the years here. We'll be bringing you the 7-Eleven update later.
110,000. We crossed 110,000 7-Eleven points, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to throw it out there now early. 110,000 7-Eleven points. We have crossed the barrier. So we're on our way to that 1 million.
We have Leroy with us as always. Leroy is always dropping some knowledge on some things that we talked about in last episode, those hidden gems that most people aren't thinking about. Leroy ain't letting them slip through the cracks. So stick around and see what Leroy's got to say later on about some more hidden gems. And then, as always, Cernoch with us. Man, Cernoch is the guy that is on my hotline and say, hey, Cernoch, what do we need to pick up? Like, I see this hat, I see this jacket, I see these pair of shoes. Like, what is it we need to pick up here? And he's definitely one of those guys dropping knowledge. So, and like I said previously, we're so thankful to have Julian with us today. Hey guys, we're going to jump right into some comments from the last couple episodes. Lisa Durr leaves a comment saying, y'all have such a great camaraderie. Thanks for the packaging tips. Great stuff. See you Tuesday. A deep dive into sourcing and cleaning and selling of golf clubs would be awesome. If you haven't done it already, you are appreciated. Farm Girl Scavenger Noel. Yeah, that's all one word. Farm Girl Scavenger Noel. Being able to pick and sell from many, many various categories is the only way to go. You will always be able to find something while others continuously walk away empty-handed. And boy, don't we know that here, because we love the challenge of finding something new. And it's one of the reasons why we bring so many people on our show as well, so that we can have a broader spectrum of what to pick up. But today we're going to go ahead and jump into 101 and find out from Julian what's a tip for someone just getting started. We'll put you on the big screen, Julian.
Big screen, really see my shiny head.
Yeah.
I might have to put a hat on. It's way shinier than I thought today. My 101 tip would be learn how to properly research your sold comps. So when you go out there, definitely I know that's like a generic one, but I'm telling you, once you figure that out and you figure out what the sell-through rate is and how to do that and how to go on eBay and say, okay, there's 10 listed and 10 sold, that's pretty good. If there's 100 listed and 0 sold, if there's 1,000 listed and 0 sold, that's an absolute no. You said so. The sold comp thing, now again, there's a whole bunch of outliers with super rare things and stuff like that. But when you're first starting, you're really probably just looking at stuff that sells fairly quickly. So I would just learn to research, and then learn that eBay. If there's this many sold, this many listed, and then go from there and then learn what to pick up. Because that was my biggest problem in the beginning. I picked up everything, and I picked up things I liked, which guess what? I found out nobody likes what I like. That's not the cool thing, just plain black, t-shirt. I mean, pullovers. Nobody likes those unless they're vintage. I like new ones. So I don't know. But yeah, that was my biggest thing. I didn't research in the beginning. And guess what? After 3.5 years, I still have a lot of that stuff left. So definitely learn how to research, and you should be, at least that's one hurdle to get over early.
There you go. garage sale is what some of us here on the panel have done recently and cleaned out some of that beginner mistakes because we all have them, we all make them, and sometimes you just have to
right.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. That's Leroy's favorite theme song. Let it go.
That's
Well,
right.
Julian, I wanted to check on one other thing. So, what is something you're selling now that you see? It's kind of like maybe it's a trending thing, or maybe it's something that you're like, man, you know what? I've really dialed in on these things, and I know to look for them all the time.
I have like a couple. I used to just do. Leroy taught me how to do all tools early on, and he gave me all the tool knowledge. So I used to do a lot of tools, and actually, for some reason, I don't find them as much as I used to at garage sales and stuff. Like they're kind of hard to come by, especially good
I've
ones.
been drifting in Myrtle Beach lately.
Have you? Could you stop? Could you go back to Spartanburg, please? I'm gonna have to buy some toolboxes soon. No, but tools are pretty good. We still like golf clubs, but I will tell you this: in this area, golf club hustling is like a thing. Like this is people make like their living specifically on golf clubs in Myrtle Beach. I know a couple of them, and that's all they do. So when you're at yard sales, I also have a YouTube channel, and we do content. So our content is kind of taking our time, right? So like we go to the yard sales, and so we can't move as fast as a golf club hustler because they're specifically yelling out the window, "Got any golf clubs?" And if they say yeah, they get out the car. If they say no, they move on. Well, I'm not doing that. I got to get out the car, talk to people, look at whatever I'm looking at. So we miss out on a lot of golf clubs. I stumble upon a couple, and then I'll buy them, and they sell very, very well. I don't pick up shipping. Comes into a big rate now with the golf club thing because it's not too bad on UPS. But I have to buy my own boxes. So you got to think about that when you buy golf clubs too, about how much the box costs. Because I think they're putting gold flakes in cardboard lately. Have y'all noticed that?
Right?
Diamonds? I haven't found any, but I don't know why cardboard costs so much. Because we buy boxes, for a lot of things now for first class and UPS, and I'm like, I don't understand why they're so expensive. And so. Golf clubs still is a big thing in my fishing stuff. Is very hard to come by, and I keep most of it, so I don't sell that much. But electronics, a lot of people still overlook like cameras, point and shoot cameras, combo units, VCRs. I know a lot of people don't like messing with them, but we have a certain box size from Uline that these things fit right in there. So now you have your box bubble wrap. It's easy, but I sell a lot of those, and then also shoes lately. We've been selling like a lot of shoes, and usually we're not shoe salesmen, but they've really picked up. I think we've sold like 10 pairs in 2 days, which is pretty high for us.
Nice.
For me, you were talking about a lot of the same stuff that I pick up, minus the fishing stuff. Out here, for some reason, well, it's not for some reason. Everybody out here knows about fishing. Like they just, so the likelihood you'll find Walmart stuff all day, but to find something that is older or Penn or one of those, like you're not gonna find it at a cheap price. You'll find it, but
Sure,
they want to pay up for it. But, yeah, golf clubs. Do you ever run into Casey, Carolina Hustler? I know he's not super far, but
yeah, he's about an hour and a half away from me south, and he would travel up to a neighborhood on a golf course also in Myrtle Beach. A lot of the golf courses are gone. We've been having this phenomenon in Myrtle Beach lately that builders, it's not a phenomenon, it's builders are coming in and they're buying golf courses and then they level them and then they put condos on them. And we've lost. Oh, dude, if you come to, I don't know who come, like Myrtle Beach right now is having Myrtle Beach, Murrells Inlet, Surfside, if you name it, the amount of people here is insane. Their stuff, they are building condos on every inch that they can. They're not building single family homes anymore. Like, some neighborhoods are coming up. It's all condominiums. And we're talking like monster complexes. And what they're doing is, so they're just finishing one up now up the road that used to be Raccoon Run golf course. Totally gone. They're now building a huge complex. I mean, it's gigantic. And so so once you get that away, Casey used to come up to one of the, it was Blackmore golf course. That one's still there. but it's not worth his drive anymore because there's so much competition. Is that he used to be able to come up and say he would make like $3,000 on that trip. And I can believe it because there's a lot of golf clubs in that one neighborhood. Well, now you have all these golf club hustlers focused in on one neighborhood because there's no more golf club neighborhoods. Jeez. There used to be 10 or 20 or 30. We had that many golf courses in Myrtle Beach at one time.
Yeah, because Myrtle Beach is like it's a prime spot for golfing. I know that a couple weeks ago, I was supposed to go to a bachelor party, but I couldn't go, and they were going to do a golf trip in Myrtle Beach. And I mean, Myrtle Beach is known for a lot of its golf courses. So that's kind of crazy to hear. Are those like private courses or public courses that are being ripped up?
A lot of, I don't know if I guess they would be private. One is right up the street from my house. It's Indian Wells. That one's been there since I've been here. I've been here for like 25 years, 30 years. That's always been there. And get this. This is where I would lose my mind if I owned a house on a golf course, because I don't know the stipulation there, right? So you buy on a golf course, you buy this beautiful putt, you're on the green, so you get to watch people, and your house value would be up because you're in a golf course, say Indian Wells. Then they sell it. Right. And now your backyard is somebody's condominium. Like, how does that work? Wouldn't you lose your because right now they haven't developed Indian Wells. It looks like Jurassic Park over there because it's like it's grown up. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the golf course has been closed for 2 years now. I don't know if they're going through the legal battle to build condominiums there, but it literally looks like Jurassic Park. There's huge palm tree. It's actually very nice looking because it's not bad, but that's people's backyards now, where it used to be a really nice golf course. So your house value just tanked a good bit. Yeah. And then when they build it, can you imagine your backyard used to be awesome and on a nice lake with, golfers around. And now it's, I think they're building them 4-story high. So a 4-story.
So I have 2 questions. One question is, when are you starting your fence business? Because everybody's going to want a fence.
That's right.
And my second question is, have you talked to the HOAs where they're building up these new condos so you can find out when they're going to have the yard sales?
Yeah, no, I haven't. They're I don't think any of them are actually complete yet that I know of.
That's
they're getting
the best
close.
part. You got to go in and get your name in there. But like, hey, when are you having your yard sales? I just want to know. You should have 3 a year. Let me know.
Yeah, or even better, you could do like Tennessee Picker and just create your own.
Yeah,
that's funny. We had him on a few weeks ago. He's like, man, just print up some flyers, go around, knock on doors, or just stick them in their mailbox. Hey, 2 weeks, we're having a community yard sale.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was the craziest story ever. When he told it to us, I was like, my mind was like,
400 home subdivision. He went and put flyers in everybody's mailboxes. Told him to be out at 7:30 instead of the normal 8 for his area. He said he loaded his car 4 times that day.
That is hilarious.
Got out there.
That's pretty good. I might actually do that. That's a good idea.
He tell his wife, "Hey, honey, we gotta print up some flyers.
Go buy some more paper and ink. You got an idea."
Yeah, might as well. Might as well. Hey, so we're going to jump into our deep dive segment with Julian. So when we typically go in this, we want to find out a little bit more about you and how you got started in reselling. Like I said, I've heard some of this before, but I know our guests that come and visit us here on the RIN are always interested about what got you started in reselling, and kind of give us a little background on that.
Sure. It's pretty simple. I don't have like a story like I think most people do. Like they started when they were young and they were like flipping candy at the cafeteria, making money. And, that wasn't me. I remember going to yard sales as a kid and hating it with my mom and staying in the car and screaming and yelling and thinking it was dumb. And my career prior to this, I was law enforcement. I really never had another career other than that. I went to college, went out right out of that, and I was a cop for 10 years. And police work, let's just say, it's a little bit different nowadays. And I was a supervisor, K-9, had people under me and stuff. And I just didn't like it anymore. And if you don't like what you're doing in life, I think that you should change it, because life is fairly short. And, it's really not because of a pension and some health insurance to stay in a place that you absolutely hate. So now that's being said, Kayla, she was my girlfriend at the time, said, hey, she's actually the reason why I'm here and why I started reselling is everything formulates to her. And even the YouTube channel actually formulates to her, is that she was like, hey, you can go into Goodwill and flip some things. And I was like, I don't think that that's right. So she would drag me to Goodwills and I would hate it. I acted like I was 5, as I did with my mom. And I was like, this is stupid and you can't make any money in here. And she's like, just try it. And I was like, this is dumb. So I start looking and she taught me real quick how to do the eBay thing. And I bought a teapot, flipped it for like $19 in net profit. And I did math really quick in my head. I was like, wait a second. I literally, and there was fee. I took out all the fees and all that stuff. And I literally made $19 on this one thing. It was very easy. And I was like, $19, that's about like an hour of cop work. Cause I was making about $19 an hour. And I was thinking, if you scale this to a certain percentage, you can make a living. And she was like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you that for 2 months. And I was like, let's try it. I said, let's try to go to a couple yard sales. We went to a couple yard sales and we bought stuff that was like super cheap. And then I was like, oh, I know. And most of it was like tools in the beginning. I didn't even do golf clubs in the beginning. I did like tools and I did some electronics that I knew and some clothing, heavy in the clothing. And we bought some stuff and then I just, part-time start doing it. And I was like, this is actually working. This week I made like $50 in profit. I was like, that's pretty good. Okay. All I have to do is like 10 times that. You're right. And then I can like live on that money because it's, I don't have any children or anything. So our bills are pretty low. And I was like, I can probably do this. And then I wasn't in it for very long, maybe like, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months. And some things happened at work and I was done. I just went in and told them my last day was on a Thanksgiving because I was going to work overtime and get time and a half. And that was my last day. So I just went in, literally said, I'm out. They retired my dog. I got to keep my dog. And once they did that, I really didn't want to stay at all because that was the reason I was there before. So they gave me my canine at the time and I was like, all right, I'm out. And then since then I did have money saved up though. That's the thing is like, I lost money for the first 6 months because I was building my inventory and I was building it kind of the wrong way. Kind of how I went back to the 101 thing. I was buying a whole bunch and kind of learning and I didn't make a profit for the first 6 months. Like but I had my bills, money for my bills already saved up. And then after that, you start to learn, you start to, figure out what's going on and stuff and how shipping works, your best way to spend your time, what to buy, where to go buy it, how to source faster. All that stuff comes in with just time and experience. And I used to watch YouTubers and I'd be like, how do they know what to pick up so fast? Like, it's like they V-line right to this stuff. Like Tim with glass, like boom, he's in there. Cernoch with the hats and the shirts and stuff. Like you can spot it like a mile away. And I'm like, this has got to be fake. Like there's no way these guys from the road can tell me that's a sports specialty script hat. Like it's impossible, right? And then when you start to know what that is, you're like, no, you can do it. Like you can literally just walk by a yard sale from 100 yards away and be like, I know what that is because it has a certain shape, it has a certain look. And then, so I'm only really like in this 3.5 years. I'd still be considered a rookie in many aspects because after 5 years, usually you're not a rookie anymore, where I used to work. So, and that's how I started. And then ever since then, the YouTube videos just kind of, I was watching YouTube videos and I was thinking, I can do that. And Kayla's like, yeah, you should try it. Because I was on camera a lot as a cop, because we were always on camera. There was never a second of my life I wasn't on the camera doing something way stupider usually than trying to sell some stuff, right? And so I was like, that's not bad. I can be on camera. And that's the biggest fears people have is seeing themselves on camera. I have to, as a police officer, I had to review. That was one of my things. I had to review body cam. I would sometimes review body cam for like 12 hours at a time. So I was already used to seeing myself act like a clown sometimes. And so I was okay with that. And so she was like, start a YouTube channel. And then it started off and it kind of just progressed from there. And YouTube's the same way. I think that YouTube, you have to get in there and figure out what you like to do, like, and then hone in on what people like to watch you do. That's also a big thing. And then double down on that. That's my YouTube strategy. I'm
You're
not
trying to
100% sure if that's the correct strategy or not. But
Well, it seems to be working out fairly well for you, sir. So congratulations on
we're
that.
trying to tell Tim that he'd have a bigger YouTube career than a reselling career, but he doesn't want to listen.
YouTube, I know why people don't or don't do it, or they're like, this is because the ups and downs of the YouTube is way, way worse than ups and downs at like reselling.
Yeah.
Up, you might have a couple bad days, but you know that you have good items to sell if you're like decent at this, right? So you know that they're going to sell. Like you're like, they'll sell. Just it might, take a little bit longer. It might be a slow day or something. YouTube might tank for like 8 months. Like we were really high last year, and it 8 months. It was like, I was like, hey, does nobody know I'm here anymore? Like, what happened? And then it picks back up again. So it ebbs and flows like huge on YouTube, and it's mostly just lasting. Like, it's like a really just keep pushing out some sort of content that or it's proven that people will watch it, if that makes sense.
So let me ask you the one thing that I like to ask, the guests that we have on here that are, I know that are reselling and are also successful on YouTube is how did you find how difficult was it, and how did you manage to find a balance to be able to be successful at reselling and at YouTube? Because for me, that was my biggest problem, was that just because of my certain circumstances, like being able to do both, like, and be consistent and successful. What were some of those obstacles, and how do you manage to do that balance wise?
One of the biggest things is that my wife quit her job.
Yeah.
It would almost be impossible for me to do what I'm doing without her, because we now split it like a good bit 50-50. So I edit all my film. Everything that you see has been edited by me. We don't have different editors. We were using somebody else on our Facebook page. We were actually associated with another company, and they gave me back my Facebook page. I said I wasn't getting enough views. And so we now have our own Facebook page. They did edit some films on there, but all my YouTube stuff is from me. And so it would be very difficult, because this is, again, now that she's quit, we have 2 people relying on this income, right? So it's even more. That's why we're so busy now, is because, everything we do is from YouTube and eBay. But the biggest thing was time when it came to that, because YouTube takes so much time. It takes more time than people think. It is like, it's a lot. I mean, everything that I do revolves honestly around getting content.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said before, I can't move as fast as somebody not filming. And our base thing on our main channel is purely just filming what we pick up. So I have to move a little slower. I have to pick this up and move it down. And, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it has to be on film. So the biggest obstacle was, okay, like, there's not enough time in the day. Like we'll work 15 hours a day. I've edited for 15 hours straight before, and just trying to get 3 videos, stretched out. So the biggest thing is, honestly, is that you almost have, if you wanted, I personally think if you want to have like a YouTube and an eBay, they almost have to go 50-50, and you have to like just constantly work at both of them, but treat them both as a business. Treat them both as that you want them. Like, if you're going to list every day, make sure you're getting content every day. Do you see what I'm saying? If you want to do a video every other day, like I do, you have to go do it. You have to go get a video, no matter what. If you got to go thrift for 8 hours, you have to go get a video for that day. Or you should actually, I always have at least 2 videos in my pocket in case something happens. But time is a thing. Like, I couldn't do this without her. There's no possible way. If you're one person doing this, I would not advise a video every other day. It would almost be like every 3 days probably. And then, because it would give you a little bit more leeway, because then you have to have time to, again, you gotta pack, you have to list, you have to clean, you have to research, and all that stuff takes time. And the worst thing is about all that, to me, on my channel, I don't get a lot of views doing that. Now, if you can get views talking about something and make that into a channel, that would be good. That'd be like more of an educational thing. Then you're getting content and you're doing your reselling at the same time. See, our channel is just going out there and finding it. So that's kind of plays into time. But the biggest thing is time. That's the biggest hurdle, is like, wow, this takes way more time. Even like walking to the car, and I have a GoPro in my hand or whatever, and I'm talking, I have to walk slower, right? Because I don't want the camera to when I get to the car, I have to put the stuff in slower because I'm showing it. And I always laugh because it's like, people don't understand how they're like, oh, it doesn't take that long. I'm a big guy. Manage your seconds, because seconds add up to minutes, minutes add up to hours. So if you lollygag, it does. If you see how much time it takes to like do a video during the day, you're like, wow, that's insane. It takes a lot longer than people think. So time is the biggest thing. But once she quit, it was so much easier. Because right now, like, I'm on here, she's listing stuff. So like she does a lot of the eBay stuff. Actually, she does, I would say 90% of anything that comes in is her. Then that, like, the back end, y'all know this about owning a business. Like, we were talking to the tax lady today about stuff. That's hours out of your day that you're trying to figure out something that was on your bank account statement or something, right? So she handles all that. I don't handle any of that anymore. She handles most of the shipping. I don't handle, I ship for Whatnot. But other than that, she handles 70% of the shipping. She does all by herself. Like, that's all her. And then that lets me focus on mostly YouTube and talking to like emailing people back with like business stuff and all that nonsense, and then going out and finding this stuff. So it's a lot. It's definitely two people. It works a lot better. For one person, it would be a lot, because you have to figure out how to make that content while you're doing what you're doing. Because our other channel is about what sold. They're easy, but they won't. I don't think that a what sold video will get 2.1 million views. I'm just not seeing it. Maybe it will. I just don't see it, because it's a small niche people that really care what I sold and what anybody, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the resellers out there. The other one, you have treasure hunters, and I can see that and I understand that, because with that one company, they really dove deep into who was watching this type of stuff. And that was the only good thing that they did, was they told me who was watching this, like who it appeals to and everything like that. So I got like an inner look at that. So it was that was good from that company. But yeah, the time is the biggest hurdle.
So you guys are only doing eBay and Whatnot as far as platforms. Are you guys doing any Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, any of that sort of stuff?
No, we were doing Poshmark and Mercari, and we kind of stepped off of it just because eBay has been doing pretty good, and we were spending a lot of time. I know List Perfectly has a thing that you touch a button and things happen, and we just don't use them. I don't have a really good question. I mean,
But you sell your big items on Facebook Marketplace pickup.
A lot of times, yeah. If we have some big items, we do local sales, but not so far between now, because people have been like not showing up, and I don't have like an hour to sit there or half an hour to even sit there to wait for somebody. But yeah, we're only doing eBay. eBay does really well. We're, like I said, we're consistently pumping out new listings. And the biggest thing is why it's doing better is because we know what to pick up now. That's like the biggest thing. Like, people always like, how to get sales. How does that? Just pick up the right items. I know that sounds so easy and stupid, but it's like, but how do you know what the right items are? You just got to look it up. Like, it's tough. Yeah. If you know what's going to sell, just go find it. And I guarantee you it will sell. And that's what, because we list probably less items. It's another thing. We probably list less items and they're higher dollar. So our dollar amount's up, but you're just finding better stuff. And it all comes with experience, because I still don't know anything. Just look at my YouTube comments. I mean, they beat me up so bad. I know nothing. So
but I noticed that in the wintertime, in the fall and the wintertime, you're doing storage units. Seems like you're doing probably one a month. Is that something that you're going to continue doing, storage units? And what do you do with that extra stuff? Does it go to Goodwill? Do you save it for a yard sale?
Leroy, that was a good question. You watch my channel. We do storage units because there are no yard sales, and we have a problem now. Our main issue now, which I didn't think was going to be a big issue, is we run out of inventory very quickly. So Kayla can list.
Cernoch's got a basement you can come visit if you're.
I probably should.
Inventory.
Because we fly through it. Just think, you have two people, and I still list. I still list daily. And so Kayla can list 20 to 30. I list 20 to 30. It's like 60 items. And these are like one-off items. So these are things that we're just like picking. So you're talking, that's a monster amount of listings in a week. You're talking 200, 220. You have to go find 200 things to list.
Are you listing every day, or are you guys?
Yeah, we don't list on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays are like pure just going out there and finding stuff, and Sundays we usually don't work on Sundays. And but yeah, Monday through Friday we're usually listing.
So you got to find 300 items a week.
That's right.
Yeah, that's something I think a lot of people don't think about. It's like when you reverse engineer stuff and you start thinking about numbers, like, hey, I would like to sell 100 items a week. Well, that means you got to find probably 200 items a week, like, to make that continue to go. So it's one of those things you definitely.
Yeah, and that's where the storage units came in, is that we couldn't do that on thrift stores. There's no possible way to bring that much. Where we live, you just can't do it. You can't find it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's impossible for us to do it.
Yeah.
So, and then online, and this is another thing about YouTube, is that we have auctions here, online auctions, right? That doesn't make good content. I just am going to sit here and bid on something and pick it up and explain it to you, but you don't get to see anything that I do.
It's not a treasure hunt.
It's not a treasure hunt. That's right. All it is me clicking a button. So online auctions, we used to do a lot of them on. We don't even do it anymore because I can't get a video. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's just the reality of it, is that if I can't get a video from it, it's very hard for me to do it. It's got to be a good deal. I've done deals without videos because people said, hey, I don't want you to video this. That's fine. As long as it's a really good deal, we'll sell it. Not a big deal. But like online auctions, we don't do it. So the storage units came into play, and I was like, we could start doing storage units, but we need more space because, like Leroy said, you get a lot of big stuff, and some of it's good stuff. Some of it's like you can sell it. So our biggest thing is our church. We just had one. We have a free, it's more like a clothing drive or like a free yard sale. Basically, we take everything to our church, and then we post it that everything's free. And then the community comes out and they just take everything for free. Most of it is supplied by us because we just have so much of that extra stuff. Our big stuff will usually sell it on Facebook Marketplace if it's a good piece of furniture, but it's got to be worth our time to do that. A lot of things we will take to Goodwill if it's decent enough to take to Goodwill. A lot of things, honestly, and again, y'all know this about YouTube, they will eat you up about throwing things away, but some things are just trash. Right? Like some things are just garbage and they have to be thrown away. There's no salvaging some of this stuff. And like there was like this moldy piece of furniture. It was terrible. It was like in a flood. It was in like the storage unit. It was terrible. Like all the furniture was literally falling apart with like mold. It was bad. It's just a bad storage unit. And we broke it up. Me and my dad broke it up with a sledgehammer, threw it away. It was like I had murdered people. And they're like, that is mid-century MCM. It's worth $1 million. You guys, and I was like, it's literally falling apart. Like it has been wet for a long time. Then it dried, and then I think it got wet again. Then a mouse ate it and then pooed it out. Now it's that piece of furniture. That's what I'm working with, people. And it was like, it was ridiculous. And people were like, you guys, this is terrible. You should have donated that. And I was like, I wouldn't. There's no donations here, guys. This is not going to work. You just have to realize that some things is garbage. It's got to go to the landfill, So yeah, Leroy, it's one of those things. Oh, and we did get one of our biggest things that was able to do that. We have 2 storage units now, like that we rent. We have a big one, like a 10 by 30, and that stays half empty all the time.
Okay, just to put things in perspective, 10 by 30 where you live. How much is that a month?
It's a lot. This is an exterior unit. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I pay $300 a month on that one. Jeez, dude. Is that a lot, Tim?
No, I pay $350 a month for a 10 by 15.
I would what? No, that doesn't sound
And every time he says that, I'm like, I'm out here.
So I've been in the process of finally constructing the shed workspace area here in my new house. We just finished the retaining wall and all that stuff. But I'm always curious to hear other people's storage unit prices because it's climate control, but it's not like drive up access. You know what I'm saying? Like But yeah, 10 by 15 is $353, I think, right now for me.
Yeah, that's a lot because we have an interior 10 by 20. It's climate controlled, and that's only like 215 or 250.
Man.
So,
So
They
you're
think you're gonna Airbnb it out. That's what it is.
That's-
They think you're gonna be like,
yeah, seriously, damn.
So
Put that on Airbnb storage unit. That's pretty good.
realistically, not saying you, Julian, but people, I'm thinking about this as I'm talking to you. Realistically, some of you guys are paying for a second mortgage on storage units.
100%.
Wow.
And we've kicked this around, Kayla and I, and so it goes deep. We're about ready to go deep right here about like where you live in life, and we live fairly close to the ocean because I've kicked this around a lot. And I bought this house 10 years ago. We have equity in it because our prices here have just skyrocketed. When I bought this, it was like they were giving it away because this was the last house in this subdivision. And they were basically like, we need somebody to buy it because the last house in the subdivision, is how I was explained, the builder still owns. Well, the builder can't leave until it's sold, right?
Oh.
So he's still paying for like the HOA fees and all this stuff. So the builder on the last house in the subdivision basically is like, just get it out of here because I have to go. Like I have other stuff to do. So we bought it at a good price 10 years ago. And so we were thinking, and we live probably 2 miles from the ocean. We live like 2 miles from where we put the boat in. It's a decent little area. And they can't build anything around us. Like we're all built up. Like there's no other things that can go around us. And so I was looking at that because we do pay basically a second mortgage on our storage units. And because we can't even in our HOA, you can't have a shed.
Nope.
You can't have a trailer sitting in your driveway because we have a trailer. You can't have a commercial vehicle even. Say like my one vehicle is owned by the business. It's under the business name, but it couldn't be a van, like a certain size van couldn't sit in our driveway. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's
some of them you can't have fences or clotheslines.
That's right. Yep, we can't have. I'm pretty sure we can't have clotheslines. Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice neighborhood, and it looks nice, and we're close to the ocean. So we were thinking about like, and also we are minutes from like 7 thrift stores, 7 to 10. Yard sale season, I was just saying we have big communities here, right? Golf courses and all that stuff, they're kind of on the decline. But even like the condos, again, still have their yearly. We have so many houses around us. So we were also playing that in. Because if I move, you'd have to move like an hour from the beach to get some land and then have ability to build something that where you could have it on your property out here. So then you're thinking, well, now I'm in the middle of kind of nowhere. How long is it going to take to go to thrift stores? How long is it going to take to go to the post office? And so we really weighed that in about like, is $700 a month? I think it's actually less than $700, $550. Is that saving us time? I know that it's kind of like one of those things like, because also we don't have children. We don't plan to have children. So we're not looking for like generational wealth, right? We're not like trying to, in 50 years or 60 years, we want to have like this empire. It ends with Kayla and I. That's it. I mean, that's the fact of it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have kids, it ends with you. So there's no reason to like have $2 million or 10 million when you die, because what's the point of that? Who gets it? The state? My parents are gone, probably, hopefully, hopefully they're not 200 years old and I die when I'm 100 or something. So that's what we're thinking. So we're like, we're close to the ocean. I know it's a lot of money, but we really thought about it. And I think as of right now, we like where we live. But yeah, we're definitely paying our mortgage, our storage fees, because it breaks down on our little tax form when she sends the profit and loss statements. They're right up there with our mortgage payment. Like neck and neck. Those guys are duking it out. We did move our trailer though, because I was paying $115, Tim, a month for this trailer barely fit in this parking spot. My trailer's only like an 5x8, and this thing was like
small.
Yeah, small trailer, it's a baby trailer, single axle guy, and it was costing me $115 to a month to store it
for a parking spot.
Yeah, for a parking spot. Yep. So we moved it out to Kayla's dad's house or her parents' house.
Jeez.
So are you a better fisher or a better golfer?
Oh, fisherman.
You're a better
No,
fisherman.
I take that back. I suck at both. I'm not that good. I did take professional lessons as a golfer, though, but I still probably wouldn't because I used to be in tournaments and stuff as a kid. But definitely not good at either. Like if you were like, hey, you got to go catch fish to eat, we would starve. And if you were like, you're going to make money golfing, we would be poor. So that's how I rate myself.
I'm telling you, we gotta put together a reseller golfing tournament.
Reseller
so
scramble, yeah.
Yeah, reseller scramble, man. That'd be good.
I would say do it in Myrtle Beach, but there's no more golf courses.
we could play in Jurassic Park. We could play Jurassic Park. Bring your machete and your golf club.
That would be so much fun. Because the greens are still there. They're still there. You just gotta go find them.
Just gotta go find them.
Bring the machete.
You know that you and Eric both live on the same side of the country in the same state, but you're 5 hours away from
We're
each
two
other.
different states. I mean,
We're
Oh,
close.
it is 2 different states. I'm sorry. But still, because I was gonna go to Myrtle Beach, it's 5 hours to Eric's.
Yeah, he was telling me, he's like, how far do you think you are from Julian? I was like, probably 5 or 6 hours. He's like,
Yeah, but you
what?
got to drive all the way up the island and all
Yeah.
the, you know.
I mean, you can probably get there quicker on a boat. Like, to be honest, like, just,
I would think so. Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, you live where I want to go one day. I've never been to the Outer Banks.
Come on out here, man. Hit me up.
It's like
See, that's
7
crazy
hours
to
away.
me. You've never been to Outer Banks? You guys
Never.
are like one state away from each other.
We just talked about it. You go like a bridge. There's a ferry, I think. Is there a ferry? I don't think so.
You gotta go over
If coming from your way, honestly, you probably would take a ferry to get out of it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put a car goes on a boat. That's scary to me.
I had to do that. I lived on
It
an
ain't
island.
that bad. Hey, just pro tip: if you do ride the ferry, do not feed the seagulls. Do not feed the seagulls, because you will get dropped on your head. Like, that's just what happens. They're local. We watch them. We watch the people do it. I was like, wait, they're about to get it. They're about to get it. Feed me so I can poop on you. Like, that's what happens.
All right, best find ever.
Best find ever. You talking about like money wise or something cool?
Both.
Well, I'll take both. Yeah, there you go, Leroy.
Two-part question. Yeah.
Money wise would probably, we have never found something that was like thousands and thousands of dollars. We have yet to find one of those. My biggest find, I think, for the money was definitely a new pair of like 2010 Cleveland hybrid clubs. They've never been used. The lady sold them for like $10 to me. It was like the whole thing. It was still in the original box that they were shipped in back in like 2010, and they sold for I think like $700, $800. They actually sold overseas, which was pretty neat. But they were probably my biggest sale for the money. And then my coolest find, actually, we just found. I didn't think I was gonna like this as much as I did. We stumbled upon a whole bunch of 1990s Legos the other day. Like, I walked up and this guy had just a ton of them. And I didn't know they were 1990s, number one. I just thought they were Legos because I'm stupid. And I was like, hey, these are pretty cool. He was like, yeah. And then he had some that were like not used. They were still like in the original box. And then he had like them in sets, in baggies. And some of them were big, like big baggies full, like this big, and had the original manual on it. And I was like, how much you asking? You know, he's like, oh, it's like $1 per one. I was like, that seems too reasonable to hit you at 50 cents. So I was like, I'll take all of them, you know. I'll get beat up in the comments. You should have paid less. Okay, whatever. So I paid $60 for all these Legos. And I came home and they're all like, the one that's not open, I don't have it. I just listed it. I have it listed for like $300. Like, that is bananas to me. And then he had them all in Ziploc bags with the original manuals. And he said that him and his wife, they were older. They were like, oh, during COVID, we took all the Legos out and we rebuilt them. And then we were just bored. And I was like, this is insane. So far, we have built, I bought 15 of them, 15 sets. Some of them are the bigger sets. And so far, they've rebuilt them properly. Like, I've been rebuilding them, having one heck of a time. It's so fun. And then you some of these go for over $200.
Wait. So you got them all, and you're like, all right, I guess I have to like put them together and see if all the pieces are there.
That's what I've been doing.
Let me tell you, them 90s Legos are easy, right? I got a nephew, and I'm sure Cernoch will attest to this too because he's got kids. These new Lego sets is like, it's like trying to put IKEA furniture together. I mean, like they got the little pieces and going in. I'm like, man, this is not the Legos I grew up on. Where it was like 4 colors and it's like plap, 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 plap.
You have to have
You
an
know?
engineering degree on some of these. Like,
Oh, I thought it was tough. There is one that I have, one that has like this thing that comes down. Again, this is 90s. And so these are the ones I used to grow up with. And I was like, this is too difficult. I can't get this hinge on here with these hands. So I'm like using this pair of pliers. So yeah, the newer ones I probably wouldn't even attempt. But yeah, the 90 Lego, they go together pretty good. They're quick. And they have been, I like them because now I'm going to seek them out is why I think I like them now. Because I was like, I didn't know. Like multiple ones I'm listing over $200 for used Lego sets.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a lot of them. I feel bad. I didn't know they were worth that much money. Seriously. I would have given them at least $100.
You're gonna need 3 extra moderators for your comments for that.
They hate me. I think people just watch just to yell at me. I honestly think so.
now, is there something on your okay, so kind of with like the Legos, that was kind of like my first part. I had a 2-parter too. So is there something recently you've had an aha moment? Like, why haven't I've seen this at many garage sales. Why haven't I picked this up more? Is there anything like that? And then my other question is there something like you've recently had with your YouTube channel where you're like, oh my goodness, people are so drawn to this piece of content or what you're finding? Whoa, I never would have thought people are interested in this.
Definitely. I don't do a lot of toys because as growing up, I think I had 1 toy as a kid. So I don't know a lot of toys, honestly. People are like, you don't know Pokemon. No, I just didn't grow up with it. My parents didn't buy me. Your parents had to buy you toys when you were a kid. I just didn't have them. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know a lot of the older toys. And now I'm going to because the other day, no, it's not the other day. It was 5 months ago. We bought a whole bunch of toys and we sold them stupidly fast. They were from the 90s and the 80s and they were gone within a week. And I was like, man, I don't know why I haven't been looking for toys. So I'm trying to gain knowledge, and how I gain knowledge is buy stuff because I'm not one to research for some reason. I'll just go buy it and then I'll look everything up and then it goes in here and then it'll formulate around for a while and then I'll see it again. But no, the aha was definitely why don't you look at it? Because every yard sale has some sort of toy there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to just differentiate between the not so good ones and then the good ones. And I feel like you could probably do that with, knowledge and everything. And then seriously, how many yard sales have I been there that they've had Legos just sitting there? And I was probably Legos, who wants that? That's dumb. Get them out of here. And then did I know? I only bought these because they were so incredibly organized. I was I'll put some Legos together. But now, I'd be yeah, I'd knock people over to get those. So that was definitely the aha was, I need to gain knowledge on that. And then YouTube wise, I would have to say I have no idea because so many people are drawn to Kayla picked up an Iranian copper silver plated Baker's dish. It's some sort of just neat looking thing, right? It's wild looking. It was handmade. This guy told us where he got it. It's legit. It's authentic. It's worth $400 or something crazy. Picked it up for $6. Not one single comment on that. None. She made a reef out of some stuff she got at Goodwill. Just a reef. It was a beautiful reef. Don't get me wrong. She's talented. She made a reef. 75 comments on the reef. Explain it to me. I ain't got a clue, guys. I have no there was one thing. Have you ever seen the big potato mashers? I think they're called a ricer.
Yep.
You put okay. There was a video I did and it had a ricer in it. I didn't know what it was because it looks like a big garlic press, basically. I don't know what this thing is. I don't cook like that. And that video got some views or whatever. Probably seriously 1,000 comments on this thing. How it's great, how they make their best noodles with it, and people are giving me recipes and all. And then you'll get something you're bro, I picked up some antique bow and arrow or something worth $5,000. Not a single comment. It's just I don't get it. So I have no idea. And once you figure it out, you might be able to actually really hit YouTube pretty hard because you can then relate to people. That I'm missing. I don't understand it.
I do have a question when you're saying comments. So in your last profession, in your old job, you got comments too, but they were to your face.
Mhm.
They were behind the screen on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Did you think that the ones behind the key on a keyboard would affect you more than when somebody tells you to your face, euro, whatever?
Yeah, no, the ones on the keyboard actually affect me more. You're right, because to my face, I get to at least see you and smile at you. Like it takes a lot to get me riled up, but it was also I could leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like after I was done, whatever I was doing there, I was like, okay, whatever, nice meeting you, bye. And then I just go. I just get in my car and drive away.
See it court.
Yeah, I'll see you in court, or if I didn't even do anything there and they were just being rude to me, I'd be like, I'll hopefully never see you again. I used to tell a lot of people that. Like, I hope I never see you again as law enforcement. You don't want to see me. I don't want to see you. Just please go live your life and never have to call us again, because hopefully your life works out where you don't have to call the cops again, right? That's the whole point about it. So I'm always like, I don't ever want to see you again.
Because I hear you with the comments, and I'm like,
but they are brutal, and it's an onslaught. You can tell when a video is getting dished out to people that aren't resellers, because you'll have like a whole bunch of nice comments like, "Oh, you're doing great. We love your channel." We have a whole bunch of good people that also tell us this, and I like all my subscribers, even if they don't like me, because it's only like 1% of the comments that they hate me. And then you can tell when it gets pushed out to like non-resellers, it's like an onslaught, like for days. Like, you're a piece of trash. We hate you. We hope you died. I'm like, you're telling somebody you hope they die over selling some shoes. Like, evaluate y'all's life real quick.
I know.
Yeah.
It's at a yard sale. It is they're literally put it in their yard to say, we want to get rid of this.
Except for the Geico commercial, because his stuff wasn't for sale.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like this too. Man, you think the comments on YouTuber terrible? Go get blow up a video on TikTok.
No.
And see what happens.
No.
I know you're on TikTok just like a little bit. And then like I've seen just some vitriol. Just like, it's like, whoa.
I can't do TikTok for that reason, because you kind of, and people are like, don't let it bother you. And I was like, I don't know what type of brain you have that you can't let all that not bother you. Because you might let the first 100, because on TikTok there's an onslaught, like I said. So the first 50 you might be like, nah, they're idiots. But the 50th one might just be like, you know what? I've had enough. Like, I'm starting to write back.
Say that, and they just turn it off. Like, they just like that. I've heard guys say that they create the content, they never look at the comments. They just like they don't even do it. Like, they just put it out there and let it eat. Like,
that's what I was going to ask Julian, because I actually, he's probably one of the only people that I leave a comment to, and I do it a lot because, I'll see something in the video. But if you like, I always get a response from him. I think it's because we're friends, but you don't respond to everybody, please.
I do. I still respond to, unless you're being I will delete, because we are a family-friendly show over the Beer Thrift Machine. So if you do anything, number one, threatening, cursing, anything like that, I have to delete your comment, because kids, we have met people that have kids that watch us, and it's very important to us to keep that very family-friendly. So I delete them. I don't respond back to them. But everybody else, I will use, unless I had like this one guy, Fred. I still remember him because I read a lot of Fred's comments. And Fred, I like Fred a lot. I like Fred because he watched all my videos. He watched all 586 of them, and 588. And Fred left a comment, sometimes 2 comments on every video, and I couldn't keep up. Fred was destroying my life. And I was I'm glad he was watching. Fred, if you're watching this, I really appreciate every one of your comments. Some were rude, some were insightful, some were nice. Fred was just a very opinionated guy. And he didn't get comments back. I would comment like 1 of every 20, because Fred was just,
So Fred is your Karen.
Yeah. Fred was, he watched every video, because I was like, there's no way he's going back 3 years watching this video. And sure enough, it would pop up that, he left me a comment on a video that was like 2.5 years old. I'm like, man, he's vested in this. I like it. He's determined to watch all my videos. And I liked it. I thought it was cool, but he didn't get all the comments. But no, I do comment. I read every comment on that channel, and I do respond to, I would say, 95% of them.
How long does that take you though in a week's time? Like, I mean, you were talking earlier about time management. Obviously, that's got to be a chunk.
Yeah, usually when I wake up in the morning, whenever it is that I wake up and I know I dropped a video, actually I have a very good routine at this. If I drop a video at 7 o'clock, I always drop at 7 o'clock. I will field the comments from 7 o'clock to 9:30. Anything that comes in that time frame, I'm usually on the ball. You'll usually get a comment back from me within 5 minutes because I'm watching it. Number one, to make sure I didn't do something completely dumb, where like I didn't catch it in the edit, and the people are like, "Hey, like you said this," or you might want to check because people timestamp. You might want to check, two minutes in, and I'm like, I got to make sure. You know what I'm saying? So I keep the 2-hour time frame, 2.5 hours. And after that, I don't look at it at all until the next morning. And then I get my morning coffee and then I sit and I might comment. I think this morning it took me like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because a lot of them are not like questions. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then if they are questions, I always direct them to someplace else. Like usually the Instagram
network.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can send them over here. We'll take care of them for you.
There you go. Because the question
they might never watch you again.
Yeah, they might not watch me again because they might realize that they're like, hey, this guy actually doesn't know what he's talking about. I never said I knew. I just put stuff on camera. But yeah, I do try to get to every. Now our other channel, we do have another channel that's just Switch Solds.
I like it.
I just don't have the time because actually that channel gets a lot of comments because it's resellers and they're commenting back and forth. We're actually probably going to try to go live every month on that channel just to field comments. Like they can come in and ask questions because I can answer everybody's question so much faster in an hour doing a live than commenting back on that channel. So it does take some time, but I think it's important. I think it's important to read everybody's comment because that's how I learn also. A lot of people.
That's part of your job.
Yeah, and that's right. It's part of my job to come back and actually comment back and be and seriously, 99% of the subscribers or the commenters, they really are awesome people. Like they give me so much information and hey, next time do this, try this, don't do this. 1% of them, sometimes they live up here for too long. Fred, I still know you. Oh, Fred. I won't forget him for a while.
Yeah, that's nice.
Every time I hear the word Karen, I'm just going to think of Fred.
Fred. You got me. That's why I have bags under my eyes. Fred did this to me. I haven't recovered since.
Because the viewers, because I don't do as much content. I started my YouTube channel and I was like, I don't have time. I'm a one-man show. I've got all this other things to do. But I know, other people, it's so surprising. People in the comments will just hone in on like, oh, did you see that? And it's just like,
yeah.
Where did y'all, and then you go back and look at it, you're like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, it was right there. Or like, or you misquoted something. It's like, they're on it like.
Oh, dude.
I will tell Julian every tool he misses in every video.
Please don't.
I do.
But I've told some buyers, like, man, if you see hats, just be like, hey, how much you want for all of them? It's like, that's the easiest, because it's like, because I've seen it, I've been that guy in the comment section. I'm like, dude, you touched all these hats and
Kevin.
you bought 2 hats, but the one, this one, and this one you left broke my heart. It's like, so I'm always like, I'll go in there and be like, hey, next time, just buy them all. Just buy them all. They're 50 cents. Just and go.
That is the best way to do it.
That is it. For sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so like when you get those comments, I mean, because it does stick in your brain, it probably does actually help you next time you go out. That you're like, oh, I should look for that because that apparently is something that's pretty decent. But
100%. One was, I still remember this one. I don't remember the name, but I'll be able to look at this like object. It was a piece of pottery, right? And I picked it up on video and it was 25 cents. I said, I literally did this. 25 cents? Too much. And I put it back down. Turns out it was some sort of like, honestly, because I called the guy, I didn't call him a liar, but in my brain I did. I was like, there's no way that he knew right off the bat what this was. It's I mean, it was on video for and you could pause it and zoom in and probably, because the comment was, you left behind a $4,000 piece of pottery. Good job. And then he said what it was. I was like, liar. Well, I went back and I have the unedited version. So I have a longer time frame where that item was in. I zoomed in. He was right.
ooh.
This thing was and I was like, there's no way. And I actually flip it over And because I was like, no, the bottom wasn't this color. I said the bottom was like this color. And Kayla's like, no, I think it was black with a, somebody's signature on the bottom. I was like, nah. Well, I went back and froze it, blew it up, put a good resolution on. Sure enough, I forget what it was called, but it's like a black piece of pottery, and it had like engravings on it. And it was like, once you saw it, you knew exactly that that's what it is. And it was literally most of them are not sold on eBay. Some are sold on eBay. Most of them were like sold in museums and stuff. And I was like, you've got it. These people did travel around this, where the place I was at, they talked about how they traveled, and it was some rare piece. I'll never find another one, but I know what it is. But that was my biggest. Yeah. I mean, and because that does help out with the comments, because you really do learn a lot. Like mercury beads. I didn't know what mercury beads were for Christmas stuff. They're those little glass beads that people used to decorate their Christmas tree with. They're just glass beads that you use, and we didn't know what they were. And we got them out of a storage unit. And somebody said, hey, those things are called mercury beads. Look them up. And we had a ton of them. And they sell for like $30 a strand.
Jeez.
I would have thrown them away, because honestly, they were just like, you wouldn't think that they were worth that much money, but somebody said, look them up. This is what they're called. And I looked it up, and sure enough, I think we sold them for like $150 for like all the strands. So the comments help out. I've been very negative about the comments on the show lately, but I do love all of them. No, they're great. They're all great. But
yeah, it's pretty one of those things. You guys got any other questions for Julian?
I mean, I probably have like 5 million, but we are at an hour, so I'll save them for part 2. I do want to say, we'll ask one last question, okay? So there's a lot of beards here right now, okay? Do you have a go-to beard product? Are you a wood comb guy? Like, what's your strategy here for the beard?
Yeah, actually, I don't have a go-to, and actually, I was gonna ask if you guys had a go-to, what it would be, but. So I don't use every place that we travel, I usually go to some sort of small store that has like a local beard company or whatever, and I'll buy their product, and then that usually like holds me over until I go someplace else. And I do oil. I do the beard oil, right? Just a little bit of oil. Beard butter at night. It's like Yeah, so you all know what it is. So I do that at night before I go to sleep, and then if I'm going out trying to look professional, I use beard balm, which like can mold it into like a shape. And then I'm not a wood comb guy. I'm a what is that? Boar hair? Is it boar hair brush? I use a boar hair brush, and that's all I got. That's my routine. Oh, and I do use I don't brush. With like regular wash with beard wash, and then I have a separate conditioner. It's a lot. I know it sounds stupid.
Listen, no, I'm right there with you, man. That's why I asked. You don't have a beard sponsor yet?
I was just gonna ask that.
No, it's actually funny. With the whole sponsorship thing, we've had a lot of companies reach out to us for like sponsors, and I'm like, I've said no to everybody. If you watch, we actually are not sponsored by nobody. And the reason is I hate contracts. Everybody that I've like talked to about sponsors, like I'm like, they're always like, well, you have to do this many. And I'm like, I don't like that, because now I work for you. And I have like this big issue with like working. I just don't like it. I was in one contract, and luckily they broke the contract so I could get out of it, which was sweet. And I ever since then, if it's a subscription, something where they're like, hey, you have to agree to this and sign it. Now you have to do 2 videos that has our stuff in it. And I was like, what happens if I get sick or I break a leg and I can't do a video? What does that mean? They're like, oh, well, you then owe, because there's always a catch to a contract, right? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. But if a good beard company came out and said, hey, we'll sponsor you and we'll give you free beard stuff and, just tell you what we use. Yeah. But a lot of these contracts, after I read them, one, I should have got a lawyer, honestly, and had him read it, because it's I don't know. I'm not that smart. So when I read it, I was like, this isn't bad. Well, I didn't read all of it, to be honest with you. I read like the first 17 pages, and there were like 25 more pages. So I was like, I'm sure it's fine. It was not fine. So that's why I don't have any. Let's just say that I don't, it's not that I don't trust companies, but I'm telling you, I just don't want to have to answer to anybody. Like, that's my biggest thing, is that I'm like, hopefully one will come around and be cool and be like, hey, We can work with you here. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But if I have to sign a contract and I have to do something, it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
So everybody's selling coffee now, right? Why don't you just start the bearded thrift machine butter?
Tim, that's a great idea. Actually, I won't write that down. You might get some proceeds from that, Tim.
Hey, as long as I can get some for my beard, will be good. I'm just saying, like everybody's selling, putting their stuff on coffee. You might as well do something that, like, if it's relatable to what you do and you use. Yeah, you should just start the bearded thrift machine butter, man. Just start making your own butter and just selling it, dude.
All right. Well,
you know how many men have probably found your channel? Just type it in beard and have nothing to do with reselling and then become your fans.
I had to say this. One of my videos, and I think this is how sometimes YouTube works. I think I got piggybacked on another YouTuber. He's huge. And his name is Beard Eats Meat, or I don't know what it is. It's something weird. Mm-hmm. But he does beard, like he eats food. He does like eating challenges around like England and United States. He's actually funny. You got to watch him. Beard meets food. That might be what it is.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, but he has millions and millions of views, right? Well, I think that I piggybacked on one of his videos, and that's why I got so many views in 2 weeks, because he was dropping a lot of content. And the only reason I say this is because he popped up on my feed. I don't know who he is. I've never even that's only makes sense. Is that I got he dropped a video, I dropped a video, people typed in beard. For some reason I was up on his like next recommendations was not him, it was me, because I can see on YouTube analytics, as y'all know, you can see the external boop thing. Right. And you can see and mine were like off the charts. And I was like, ain't nobody looking me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a million people typing that in. So I think you're onto something with that. And I will actually, because we wrote down.
We're probably trying to figure out what kind of machine works with your beard is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's a beard machine. Hold on, let's see what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I could start my own beard line of products.
Even if you sold 10 a month because of your customers.
DD sell more than 10 a month. You can do a subscription.
See, yeah. And that's the worst thing, is that I don't think a lot.
Oh, come on,
like you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many good ideas, and I don't like sit around and think. So like I'm so one tracked, and that's what Kayla's good at, is that she'll be like, well, have you thought of this and this? I'm like, no, I think about like doing video right now, and I have like 17 million things to do, because we have to outsource some of this stuff soon. Like, we just can't. Like, people buy our merchandise. This is how I know, Tim, that this I think would work, because every time that Kayla makes all of our own merchandise, like we still make our own shirts. Every time we recently, especially on Whatnot, we'll do it as a buy it now, and they sell out before the auction actually happens. And we're like, wow, we could probably get our name out there more and people could wear our shirts, but we can't. We don't have the time to make them. And so, but the thing is that when you go to a print place or whatever, they're so expensive, and it's like, I don't want.
Bringing them places are junk, man. The print on demand people are not good. Like,
no, and then you don't want them to be unhappy with the product. So, but I think the beard thing is that's gonna happen.
Hey, we're gonna cut this out of the video so no one steals it from me.
Yeah, just bleep everything. They'll think we're just cursing.
Yeah, we'll cut out the beard thing for real. Like, but
yeah, that's a solid idea. Seriously, Tim, you will get, if this goes to, you will get a free subscription, Tim, free subscription for life.
Yeah.
There you go.
Then you got a
official sponsor of the beard on.
You know his football show is
Authentic in the Beard.
Authentic in the Beard.
Yeah, see, I could sponsor that. I'll give you money. This could work out. I'm actually gonna after we're done this, I'm probably gonna sit here and research some stuff. I got Legos to put together. That's my big part of my day. So I'll probably be watching YouTube on how to do this and putting Legos together.
Hey, you know what you should do? Set your camera up while you're putting it together, and
that's what I was gonna ask too.
And just put it like, just put a video out and just be like, hey, here's me building this Lego set
behind the scenes.
You know what I'm
Like a
saying?
Solid idea.
Yeah.
That's
Because
gonna
then you'll get massive amounts of like Lego people too, because there's like a huge community
Lego
of people out
hit.
there that just
Lego
watch
hit.
people putting Legos together. I mean, so like then you can just get into a whole nother thing. You'll get all the Lego people and the reseller people, man. Like this
How
is where
about
you come to get ideas, Julian.
Have to
Reseller
come on the
Information
show.
Network.
yeah, at least every month. Not every month because you guys probably wouldn't let me on every month. But I'm gonna come here a lot now. Get some good ideas.
I'm just wondering with the Legos, you're saying Legos and beards. Could you do like every day you do a small little video of like one of the little Lego men like crawling through your beard or climbing up?
Just crawling up over
Like
in
elf
my
on a
ear.
shelf, you got the Lego man on the beard. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna close this thing out.
All right.
Look, we do appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching today. If you're not subscribed to us,